Now let us shift from the dying person to those naman who are left behind. So no, so it's important to also understand na may tulong or related para magkakaiba nga mga terms, and that is grief, mourning, ngahin, bereavement. Let us discuss first and grief. Grief is the subjective feeling precipitated by the death of a loved one. So it's actually the internal and emotional nga experience sugad han sadness, anger, guilt, yearning and confusion hadton mga person that was left behind. We also have here mourning. Well, mourning is the process by which grief is resolved. Kumbaga, it includes naman, kung kanina internal, ini naman, it includes the external nga expression of grief and the gradual adaptation han loss of a loved one. So, na-include liwat ha mourning and sinisining rituals, sugad han funeral, seating Shiva para ibang culture, wearing black, or other cultural practices. So, depende lo ito kung diin nga country. While bereavement naman is literally, no, the state of being deprived of someone by death. So, kumbaga, objective ini nga fact that um, I am, or for example, ako namatayan, no? So I am bereaved means nga someone I loved has died. So bereavement talaga is the state and grief and state. And grief is the feeling while mourning is the healing. Okay? So kun and for example, if someone you love dies, you are in a state of bereavement. Okay? It's the objective fact. And an imo naman nafe-feel nga pain and sadness and longing, amo iton and mga nafe-feel naton, ang tawag ito is grief. Well, and kuan naman, mourning is about hand funeral na imo ginatendan and support group that you are in. For example, ada ka may support group kahan mga example, mga families na namatyan hin relatives because of suicide. Diba? So, mourning is the gradual process of learning to live without the person. Now let's talk about phenomenology of grief. So, pag sumiringanin kita phenomenology, we all know na ang focus hini is the experience. So, phenomenology of grief is the experience of grief. And actually, may daliwat iton phases of grieving. And it starts with initial shock, disbelief, and denial, and followed by social withdrawal, and finally, in restitution. So we will discuss these phases in more detail after the slides. So the first phase of grief is initial shock or disbelief or sort of denial gihapon, di ba? So, kung first time mo nabaruan that someone has died, there's often a feeling of unreality. Nga parang, dili ini pwede mangyari, o di ba nga feeling na parang it's not real. So, kay ano, because and brain is actually protecting us, di ba parehasan stages of dying kanina na may denial. And we all know nga, first stage of dying kaapit talaga hi denial. And parehas gihapon kan Elizabeth Kubler-Ross stages, and denial talaga is also a protection ha aton brain from the full impact and loss all at once, 'di ba? So in and mga tao in this phase might say things like I keep expecting them to walk through the door, or I forget that they are gone and pick up the phone to call them, 'di ba? So ini nga mga phrases usually na mabaten ta mga tawo nga nawadan hin ani loved ones. So usually brief ini nga phase, ini nga initial shock, disbelief and denial. It it may duration hindi pwede hours to days, but in some cases it can also last longer. So during this time, and people often function autopilot, like making funeral arrangements while also emotionally numb pahera. Okay? And next naman na phase is social withdrawal. So as the shock nagwe-wears off, kaya 'di ba initial shock man good and first phase, and a reality nagsiset in na, and bereaved na person often withdraw from social interactions. Kaya no, because grief is actually exhausting, and mga social interactions also require energy that they don't have. So, ang nangyayari yun they prefer to isolate themselves, and they lose interest in activities na they used to enjoy, and seem parang emotionally flat hera. Na-witness ko lang ni ano, lately he Miss Laika Maravilla. She lost her mother. So, makikita mo niya, pinaka first nga content after namatay niya mother, medyo makikita mo talaga iya face. Ano na, medyo maihaan niya bago naghimo content. So, kumbaga, there is a brief moment where nag-lose yan interest in mga activities na she used to enjoy, and dito niya first video parang emotionally flat pa hera. Hiya, diri pa hiya. Singon ta diri pa hiya okay. So, di rin man in depression necessarily, di rin man ito ibig sabihin automatic. It's actually the hard work of processing grief. So, during ining phase, and person is still gin-integrate lagi hapon ni an loss, haiya reality, and begins to face life without the deceased person. So, pwede niya maglast from weeks to months, ini nga social withdrawal. Pero there are some liwat nga di rin man necessary nga long talaga and social withdrawal phase. And there comes the third phase, or the restitution. This is the gradual return to functioning and also rebuilding life. So here, restitution means restoration. Ibig sabihin, they put their life together, they put their life back together, though maaramera it will never be the same kung wala ito na person. So this person begins to re-engage with life. They form new routines and also find new meaning and hanira current nga situation. So they can think about the deceased without overwhelming pain. So ini nga phase, nakaka-experience naman hira enjoy, and though nakaka-feel pa hira na there may be sort of parang guilt about moving on. Kaya parang naku-compare ako, tama ba ini nga nagmo-move on na ako, nga namamatayan pa man lang ako, 'di ba? So, and grief actually, it doesn't end. Kumbaga, you don't get over losing someone you love, but kumbaga, nai-integrate nala ito imo current na life without the bereaved. So, this pain becomes less acute hining a phase nga restitution and less constant na hiya. So this phase can take many months to years. Okay, so let's talk about an expected timeline para normal nga grief. Okay, so giistoryahan tayo ni because mapapag-istoryahan taliwat niyan and complicated nga grief. Okay, so may da sinisiring timeline para normal na pag-grieve. So the bereaved is expected to return to work or school in a few weeks. So this doesn't mean nga they are over it. It just means na and basic functioning returns even while grieving still continue. So, para makaestablish rahin equilibrium or feeling emotionally stable, it will take them within a few months. So, pero by 2 to 4 months, and most people are no longer in crisis mode, no? So, they are still grieving, pero they are no longer in crisis mode. And to be capable of pursuing new relationships, it takes within 6 months to 1 year. So this means nga being emotionally ready for new friendships or romantic relationships takes time. And it's very important to note nga ini nga atong share na diha slide is just averages, dili niya rules. Okay? So everyone kasi nagigrieve liwat differently and waray talaga sinisiring nga correct nga timeline. And it's really hard to pressure someone nga namatyan to move on too quickly kasi it can be harmful. You know what? Ang mga siguro nila mga less privileged or those nga the mga poverty-stricken areas. I don't know if nagkita na kamuhan when life gives you tangerines ba to? Nga Korean. Nga because survival mode hera, ibig sabihin, dili good. Wala hira kaya. Actually, poor hera nga namat yan hira anak. Pero because kailangan hira lumaban sa buhay, kailangan magtrabaho dayon. Kumbaga, medyo na pressure hira, ano na pressure, parang nawaray hira time to grieve han era anak nga namatay, 'di ba? So and that's not actually healthy and it's really harmful kung dere nag-undergo han phases of um grief and person nga namatyan. So it really takes time sering pa. Um, ano ba ang normal bereavement reactions? So I'll discuss on the following slide and mga four elements of normal bereavement reactions. So we have four elements here. We have the searching, protest, despair, despair and detachment, and also reorganization. So searching means looking for the deceased. Diba? You check ano yung mga usual na spots, and then expecting to see them or ma-feel mo man lahira. So it might sound irrational, pero it's really the brain, no, struggling to accept the loss ito na ira loved one. So that's searching. Second is protest. This means anger and resistance. Nga, dili unta ini nangyari. Ganyan. So, medyo pareha siyahan anger gihapon ha ano to dying stages of dying ni Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. And despair and detachment is the deep na sadness and withdrawal nga na-discuss na naton. Kumbaga, this is the hard work of grief talaga. Kaya diba, nasing pa nga ni exhausting talaga ang pag-grieve. Emotionally exhausting hiya. So this is the deep sadness no nga phase or element. And next is reorganization or rebuilding nahan life without the deceased. Nagfa-find ka na new routines, new roles, and new meanings. So, all of this are normal. Okay? So, it's just normal for someone nga namatayan to experience any nga four elements of normal bereavement. It's just part of grieving. Okay, so this is the phases of uncomplicated grief. Meaning normal iningan healthy nga grief. Dili complicated. It doesn't mean nga sumiring kita nga uncomplicated grief nga easy na hiya. It just means na ang grief talaga, it follows a typical pattern. Okay, so as you can see here, this is the phase 1, the phase 2, and the phase 3. So, may na talaga hiya typical nga pattern and nare-resolve liwat yan naturally without professional intervention. Di rin necessary nga nag-grieve ka that you really have to go meet a professional. Pero may mga times that you have to, no? So, amoy ni ang mga phases na mentioned na kanina, ang shock, withdrawal, dito didi, and the restitution or the resolution. Adigapit here. So, these are the manifestations, no? Ha, emotional, somatic, thoughts, and motivational stages. Okay, so since we mentioned the phases of uncomplicated grief, unfortunately, di rin nga tanan na followin sa dito. Sometimes talaga, grief, nagiging complicated hiya. So, ibig sabihin, and grief nera is prolonged, intense, or doesn't resolve in a healthy way. Okay? So, may the three main types nga makikita mo nga di, and we will discuss each. So, we have the chronic grief, hypertrophic grief, and the delayed grief. Okay? So, uncomplicated grief, by the way, kinahanglan niya sometimes it requires in professional nga intervention. So, in therapy, grief counseling, or sometimes na kinanglalutin medication. Now, let's start chronic grief. Nangyayari ini when may the very close nga relationship and then combined with a lack of social support. So, kaya na-lead hiya to chronic grief because an person's entire identity and iya life liwat revolved around the deceased person. And kumbaga nawarayan nila hin support system to help them rebuild the nila kinabuhi. So chronic grief is prolonged and di rin nag-improve over time. So even years later, an person is still parang devastated as they were. And first pala nila nabaruan nga namatayan person. So they cannot function normally, they cannot find meaning sa ira life, and they feel stuck sa ira grief. So as you can see, required talaga in professional help kapag nakaka-experience in chronic na grief. May dalawang sinisiring nga hypertrophic grief. Hyper means excessive. Na-involve inihin mga unexpected nga death, intense nga bereavement reactions, ngan long term and course. So typically nangyayari ini ha mga sudden, traumatic or mga unexpected nga death. Kay ano kasi diri hira prepared. No, there's no preparation, waray goodbye, waray closure, just sudden la nga shocking loss. Okay? So, ang grief reactions here kay more intense kaysa normal, mas severe and depression and anxiety, even and PTSD symptoms or post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms. So, ang grieving process, mas longer than typical, nag-take hiyahin years instead of months, nga na-include hiyahin mga complicated na mga emotions, so ganun guilt, anger, and also mga traumatic na memories. Okay? Pwede ini because sa mga sudden accidents, so ito, driving accidents, or maybe an era family member um was murdered. So ganito. So amin yan usual nakaka-experience in hypertrophic grief, no? So, kinahanglan hin trauma therapy, dirila grief counseling para hini. Especially kung baga naka-witness pahirahan kamatay hitong era loved one, hini nga unexpected death. May naliwat sinisiring nga delayed nga grief. Okay? Ini nga delayed grief involves an absent or inhibited na grief with prolonged denial. Ibig sabihin, ini nga person doesn't grieve initially. Okay? They might look nga fine lahira, okay lahira, but and sometimes nga ni mahasashock ka lang, kakompost man niya parahan sa nga tao nga namatyan, no? So, kaya hindi nangyayari because sometimes practical demands prevent grieving. So, amo na ito yun sa sining ko iyo nga experience dituhan pelikula o han K-drama nga akong gigitan and when life gives you tangerines nga because na-prevent hera to grieve kasi parang kailangan nila magpakabuhi kaya may mga anak palawat hera nga iba. So, yun, they have to care for others or they should make arrangements or what I a choice but to stay strong. So, nagkamay dahil actually delayed nga grief dito. adto nga if for idea you can watch that K-drama. That's really tear-jerking na K-drama. So sometimes a person cannot emotionally handle han loss. So ginsusuppress na ito nira. But grief doesn't go away. It emerges later and often nati-trigger hiya by another loss or a stressor. And kung finally nag-emerge na ini nga grief, nagiging overwhelming hiya, confusing because diri na hiya connected han original nga loss in time. Okay? Oh, para mas maiintindihan niyo, an example na may ada ko hini is, for example, a single mother whose husband dies might seem fine for 6 months. Kay busy man gud niya to care her niya mga children, um, nag-work hiya, manage niya yung finances on her own. Kumbaga, waray hiya time to grieve. So, 6 months later, namatay niya dog. And here, she completely falls apart. No? Dirila about her dog, but finally, nag-grieve na hiya niya husband. So, na-confuse niya family. Kaya anong masyado yung ka-upset handog, no? Pero actually, delayed grief la talaga ito para niya husband. Okay, so here's the anniversary reactions which involve hin rekindled nga grief on significant dates. So even after someone has successfully grieved and also moved forward, and grief can resurface, especially ha mga anniversaries. So including any an anniversary of death, but at the same time, and birthdays ito nga person, holidays, kada Pasko, New Year, or other na mga meaningful dates. Kaya ni nangyayari because ini nga dates trigger hin mga memories and also remind the person nga nawara. 'Di ba? So, an anniversary reactions are just normal, even years after the loss. So, an intensity ni usually lessens over time but may never completely disappear. Okay? So, baga na resurface lahiya balik during mga significant dates. And that's normal. Okay, now, and grief talaga is not just emotional. It has biological effects lawat ha aton body. Research shows na ang grief affects also immune functioning. So, specifically, and mga bereaved people, nagsushow hirahin decreased nga lymphocyte proliferation. So, ang lymphocytes are mga white blood cells nga nagfa-fight hin infection. So, when they don't proliferate properly, the person is more vulnerable ha illness. So there's also what we call impaired functioning of natural killer cells. Natural killer cells nagde-destroy inihin cancer cells and mga virus-infected cells. This is why and mga bereaved people are more likely to get sick and why there's an increased mortality in the year following a spouse's death. 'Di ba? So, may dito mga times nga no matyan in an tawo ni asawa tas nasunod liwat hira, 'di ba? So, kasi apektado liwat and physical health and person nga nag-grieve. It's not just mental health. Okay? So, studies show nga ang widows and widowers are at increased risk of death in the year following their spouse's death. Sometimes, ang tawag ini is dying of a broken heart. So this stress of grief weakens the immune system nga nag-increase ang mga inflammation and it makes people more vulnerable and mga heart attacks, infections, and other health problems. Okay, so now let's talk about uh, it's really important na i-distinguish ta an normal na bereavement and also in major depressive disorder. Because ang symptoms nila puro parehas, pero ang treatment and prognosis kasi nila kay different. Okay? So medyo mag-advance to abnormal psychology kita hininga part. So, he bereavement, ngan major depressive disorder, i-compare natin hira ha iba-ibang dimensions. Let's start with symptoms. So in bereavement, and symptoms may meet criteria for a major depressive episode. For example, may sadness, may sleep problems, may appetite changes, and difficulty concentrating. However, unbereaved person rarely has morbid feelings of guilt and worthlessness or suicidal ideation or psychomotor retardation. Pero in major depressive disorder, any symptoms as defined by DSM can be present, including liwat, and severe guilt, feeling worthless, wanting to die, and moving or thinking very slowly. So, anong difference din he? Grief is about the loss of someone else. Pero depression naman, parang nawarayan ka hin self-worth, no? Doon nakaka-feel ka na feeling worthless ka na after namatay ato nga person na you also want to die, 'di ba? And may da ka severe na guilt. So kapag sugad nito ng presentation after losing a loved one, then maybe adin MDD. Next, let's talk about ang self-perception. Okay? So, unbereaved nga person, consider themselves nga bereaved, di ba? I'm grieving, or I miss my husband, or I miss my mother, di ba? Kumbaga, an era self-concept is intact. They just feel sad about itong loss. Okay? While an person nga may ada major depressive disorder may consider themselves nga weak, defective, or bad. Something is wrong with them or worthless sila. Kumbaga, an era sense of self talaga is damaged. Okay? If ever in the future makabasa ka mo question about this, kung normal grieving laba, normal bereavement ba inihiya, or MDD or other disorders, you really have to distinguish, no? And next is on triggers. So, bereavement, may dagat sila nga dysphoria. And dysphoria or the feeling of sadness is nati-trigger han thoughts or reminders han person nga nawara. So, there are certain songs, may places, or dates that make them sad because connected inihan person nga nawara. Diba? Pero major depressive disorder and dysphoria is often autonomous and independent han thoughts or reminders about the person. Ini nga person really feels bad all the time, and not just when something reminds them of a specific loss. Okay? Kumbaga, ang dysphoria niya is continuous. Waray, di rin necessary nga nare-remind lahira ito na tao nga nawara. Parang it's prolonged. Now, let's talk about the onset. So the onset of bereavement is within the first 2 months of loss. Okay? You can point to when the grief started. Oh, it started when the person died. Pero a major depressive disorder can have onset at any time, sometimes without a clear na precipitating event. Okay? Someone might wake up one day tapos na-feel na niya nga depressed hiya for no apparent reason. Okay? So, bereavement, it's clear kung saan ang onset. From the person, from the time na may namatay nga important person ha iya until 2 months. Okay? Or the first 2 months of loss. And now, let's talk about functional impairment. So, bereavement, functional impairment is transient, ngayon mild. Ibig sabihin, the person might struggle for a few weeks or months, pero gradually, nagre-return na siya to normal functioning. While he major depressive disorder, clinically significant ko din niya distress, and impairment na persistently ngahin severe. The person can't work anymore, di rin na niya na-maintain na niya relationships with others, di rin na niya nakaka-take care niya self for extended periods. And history naman, bereavement, there's typically no family or personal history of major depression. Kaya ang grief is a reaction, a specific na loss. It's not a pattern of depressive episodes. So, a major depressive disorder, sometimes may ada family and or personal history and major depression. So, nasuggest ini nga biological nga vulnerability to depression. Okay? It's not just grief to a specific loss. Okay, so why is it important na magkamay dahin distinction between bereavement and MDD? Okay? Kaya no, because a normal nga grief, dili hiya ma-require hin antidepressants or mga psychiatric treatment na require lalugudihin support, time, ngahin compassion. Okay? Yung major depressive disorder kasi na-require talaga hin professional treatment. Okay? Pero may mga times talaga nga ang bereavement nag-evolves into major depression. So, ibig sabihin, kapag sugad niya hini, professional help is needed. Okay? So, I'll just show you an example of a normal nga bereavement. Yan, a woman whose husband died 6 months ago cries when she sees his favorite restaurant, feels sad on their anniversary, but can still go to work, care for her kids, and enjoy time with friends. So that's normal bereavement. While a person nga who feels worthless, can't get out of bed, has no appetite, thinks about suicide, and has felt this way every day for months, regardless of reminders. That's major depressive disorder and that requires treatment. Okay? So we have to be very careful because pwede naging trigger luwat and losing a loved one. Tas, di rin na talaga hiya nakaka-move on. I mean, biskan ano pa nga situation, di rin na talaga niya nakaka-move on grieving phase, nag-take na for how many years, then professional help is needed already. So there is what we call mga appropriate support para grieving people. So here is grief therapy. Pero we have to understand nga bereaved people should not routinely see a psychiatrist. Kaya no, because a normal grief dili a mental illness. So it's just a natural human response sa loss. Kasi kung i-pathologize natin it normal grief, it can actually be very harmful to the person. However, may mga times na ang mga mild sedatives can also help temporarily kung ang person cannot sleep or is having severe anxiety or panic attacks because of loss. So, short-term lain hiya nga support, diri ni long-term treatment nga permi nala magkukuan hin sedatives. And antidepressant medication or anti-anxiety agents are rarely indicated kasi needed la ini if the bereavement has progressed into major depressive disorder or an anxiety disorder. So, what is helpful siguro for people who are grieving is group counseling, like connecting with others nga naka-experience liwatin similar losses. So nakaka-provide kasi inihin validation, support, and practical coping strategies para bereaved. And it helps people feel less alone, normalize ang grief experience, and also the best support is often just being present, no? If you want to help someone who is grieving, You just listen without really trying to fix a problem. You validate your feelings and also provide hin practical nga help. Okay? So instead nga i-refer ta ang mga widow or widowers sa mga psychiatrist, it's more helpful to connect them ha mga support group where he or she can share any experiences ha others that will also understand any situation. Okay? Bisan lang mga simple lang nga pamati, pag-offer ha iyahin meals or help niya mga errands, mga kinahanglan niya. Yan ang example if she's a single mom na yan na so ba, just helping the person or sitting with her while she cries. That's often more helpful kesahan medication. We don't want our clients to be dependent liwat sa mga sedatives or mga antidepressant or ang anti-anxiety. Okay, so now let's discuss hospice care. Kay usa ini nga crucial service para han mga dying patients and their families. So hospice is a holistic specialty, a healthcare nga nagfo-focus on providing terminally ill people with the best quality of life possible. So it's really not just about the patient. Hospice cares also care para ha family and recognizing that the whole family unit is affected when somebody is dying, diba? So nurses, doctors, certified nursing assistants or CNAs, therapists, chaplains, volunteers, and social workers nagpo-provide in hospice care. So ining interdisciplinary team gina-address nila every aspect of dying. Physical, emotional, spiritual, social, pati and mga practical na mga aspects. So the focus is not on quantity of life, but it's really on quality, no? Ibig sabihin, they don't try to cure disease or extend life at all cost. Instead, gin-ensure nila na ang patient's remaining time is as comfortable, meaningful, and dignified as possible. So, an hospice provides pain management, symptom control, emotional support, spiritual care, and practical assistance. Pwede niya i-provide diri lang sa hospitals but also at home. Pwede ha nursing home, pwede ha dedicated hospice family. Okay? This is the second to the last slide. Let's discuss in 10 practical strategies for communicating effectively with someone who is dying. So, the strategy one is to establish your presence. So, you sit down, don't stand over them, make eye contact if culturally appropriate, and also hold their hand or touch their shoulder if they are comfortable with physical contact. Okay, so that's how you establish your presence effectively ha someone who is dying. It shows them nga you are fully present and you are not rushing through. Strategy 2 is to eliminate in mga distraction. So, as simple as turning off your phone, closing the door, or make the environment calm and quiet. Give them your complete and undivided attention. So that's eliminating distraction. So strategy 3 is being sensitive to how long you should stay. You watch for signs of fatigue. Are they struggling to keep their eyes open or are responses becoming shorter kapag yung kakaistorya? So do not overstay. Pero ayaw liwat pag lakse, pag ikalalakat, 'di ba? You follow the cues. Be sensitive enough kung kaano ka mag-iihadida an person na who is dying. Fourth, don't insist the person feel acceptance of death. They are allowed to experience all phases or stages of dying. They can be angry, they can be scared, or they can be in denial. So don't pressure them to accept or be at peace. So you just meet them where they are emotionally. So strategy 5 liwat is to encourage an expression of feelings. You can say things like it's okay to be angry, or tell me what scares you, or what do you need, 'di ba? So here you are creating emotional nga safety for them na maging vulnerable. Strategy 6 naman is don't be afraid to ask what the expected outcome for their illness is. If they want to talk about prognosis and dying, don't avoid it to protect your own comfort. Okay? You can acknowledge the reality nga. How are you feeling about what the doctors have said? 'Di ba? So it's okay to discuss that, especially kung nasa-sense mo na parang willing man sila to talk about it. Strategy 7, you ask if there is anyone they would like to see. You help facilitate ang mga connections. May dabahera ka ruyag tawagan, may dabahera gustong makita, di ba? So let's help them tie up relational loose ends. Strategy 8 is encourage the dying person to reminisce. So here, you can tell to the dying person na tell me about when you were young, or what's your favorite memory, or what are you most proud of, 'di ba? So life review is also healing and helps them find meaning as well. So strategy 9 naman, um you talk when they wish to. Hiran ipa-control han conversation. If they want to talk, you listen. And if they want silence, you sit quietly. Okay? Don't fill silence with nervous chatter kasi nakaka-stress liwat ito part-time patient. Strategy 10 is express your regard for the dying person. You say na you have meant so much to me, or you thank them for what they taught you, or you just simply saying I love you. Okay? So don't assume that they know, you say it, 'di ba? Para wala regrets liwat in the end. So lastly, let me leave you with this quote. Okay, this really beautifully captures an important truth about mortality. So dying and the individual's awareness of it imbues humans with values, passions, wishes, and the impetus to make the most of the time. So, ano ibig sabihin yun eh? Awareness of our own mortality actually makes life more meaningful. Parang existential lang na psychotherapy If we know that our time is limited, um, whether mamamatay na kita or just aware that life is short, it actually motivates us to live more intentionally. 'Di ba? So, amo ito ni ibig sabihin hininga quote. We live more intentionally. So, here, we have to parang able to ask questions. Kung ano ba talaga na matter ha akon? What do I really want to accomplish in this short time na I have here on earth? How do I want to be remembered? 'Di ba? So, here we have the motivation to make the most of our time and di rin na waste and mga things nga that doesn't matter. 'Di ba? So that's really the paradox of life. When you confront death, it helps us live more fully, 'di ba? So that is why mga terminal and mga diagnosis sometimes they lead a profound life transformation, 'di ba? So that's why ang mga short na marami ra na may taning era kinabuhi They reconcile with estranged family. They quit jobs that they don't like or they hate. They travel, they write, or they create, and they love more deeply kasi maaramera na they're going to leave this earth anytime soon. Diba? So that's all for all the lessons, developmental psychology. This is definitely one of the difficult topics to talk about, pero sining pa, inevitable part of life. Diba? So, good luck sa iyo mga summative tests and also sa iyo exam. Okay?